Welcome back to Woodworking with Wes. Today's project has to have a little explanation in front of it. Like the painter whose house is never painted, or the shoemakers whose kids don't have any shoes, a cabinet maker always never has stuff for himself. For years I have done my paperwork on my kitchen table. Well, I got kicked off the kitchen table. So today we're going to build a desk for me. In deciding what kind of desk to make, we decided on a farmhouse style desk, and so we went to our big box lumber store to look for 2x4s like we see most of the farmhouse furniture put together, and I was not very happy with the material that I saw. The 2x4s were not clean and straight, wouldn't have made a very good desk, so I decided to make my own. This is poplar, and what I did was I milled some of my 3/4 inch poplar down, I glued it together and sized it to the size of a 2x4. I've got some more to do, and so we're going to glue up a couple more and show you how we did it. I wanted to mention also, in the cost of doing this, the difference in the cost between 2x4s from our big box store and the ones we made ourselves out of good hardwood was only about $20 difference. So it isn't a big expense for a much nicer piece of furniture. Here's the piece of quarter sawn oak that we've glued up to be our top. But I want my top to be 1.5 inches thick. And so I want you to watch how I'm going to make my top 1.5 inches thick out of 3/4 inch material. It's kind of a tricky way that I do it, and it helps hold your top perfectly flat over a long period of time. Makes a great top. So watch, see how it comes together. We're going to make our top 18 by 60, but it'll be 2 pieces, so watch how it comes together. This face frame construction that we just did is the bottom part of our top. So this is the bottom layer, and there'll be the solid layer will be on the top. This creates a stability for the top. By screwing this to the top piece, it will never warp, because this will not allow it to ever have any warpage, and it makes a more stable top. Also gives you 1.5 inch buildup. We'll show you how. We're just going to go ahead and take care of that right now. One of the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sand a little bit on this piece. We're going to put a 3/8 round over on the top, an 1/8 inch round over on the bottom, and that will complete this part of the deal, part of the top. Now you notice that I clamped it to the table. If you've ever used a Craig boring machine, clamping it keeps your joints flat and level, makes it easier to screw together. Okay, we've sanded and routed the bottom piece. I want to show you here real close how we are going to calculate the measurement for the top part. If you'll come in here real close, you can see where our route ends up, and we're going to calculate our top piece from this line to the same back here, and then from this edge to the other edge. So we'll take that measurement now. We'll cut our full-size top down to this size, sand or route, sand, and attach. So our top here is going to be 17. I think we're going to make it 17 1/4, which means we're going to subtract 3/4 of an inch. So this was 18 by 60, and our top is going to be 17 1/4 by 59 1/4. So that's the size we're going to cut that right there. Well, there's our top. In the spirit of full disclosure, I had a little issue. My top was out of square and my frame underneath was out of square the other way. And when I went to put it together, it didn't fit very good. And I want to show you how the frame fits underneath. That's how it looks underneath. That's how it holds it all nice and flat. But anyway, what I had to do was back up and take the two pieces apart and re-square my top and my frame. So my top is actually 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around than it was before, because I had to take that much off in order to square it up. Don't ever think you're too old for mistakes. Right here. Welcome back to day 2 of our desk build. We glued up our stock, and I just wanted to show you that I have all the stock all glued up now and sized and sanded. So we're all ready with our dimensional stock. I did make 2 pieces. This is 3 1/2, this is 3 3/4. This is going to be the top and the bottom. In order to show you what I'm doing, I drew this out so that I could make sure I got all my measurements right. I drew this out full size on a piece of MDF, and I'll just walk you through it. Then we're just going to go ahead and cut it and put it together. This is our bottom piece here, and I put 2 little feet on it. These are going to be our uprights. These are 45s. Now, I wanted to have these a little more prominent, and a 45 made them too small. Basically what I was talking about is the angle on the ends, 45, because this is a 90 degree, and so the angles on these have got to equal 90 degrees, typically 45 and 45. But I wanted them to be a little more prominent, so what I did is I made them 30-60. So this is a 30 degree cut, this is a 60 degree cut, also equaling 90 degrees. And so that's what we're going to do there. And then this is the top piece that will go, and this is where the top of the desk is going to sit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up all of this stock that I made, and we're going to cut them into these pieces and put them together. we've just cut our pieces. The pieces that we cut here, these long pieces, are the tall pieces. These pieces here are the top and the bottom. And I did want to show you that as I was making my drawing, I listed my parts out. This is kind of goes back to my crude drawings that I do when I do shop drawings. This one I just did full size so that I could get my correct measurements. But I always list my parts. 16.5 is the top and the bottom. That's what these are. 24.5 are these pieces here that go top to bottom. And what we're going to do now is, if you'll notice, I have a 2.5-inch space between my two uprights. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make our measurements and mark these so that we know exactly where to put them. We'll do that now. After I put my layout lines on my top and my bottom piece, I nailed the foot on, I sanded the seam, and I routed the outside edge, top and bottom, the outside edge and the top. And so now these pieces will fit together like this and line up to my layout lines to create the first part of our assembly. Now, to put this together, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just nail it with an 18 gauge 2-inch nail to hold it in place, and then I will anchor it with some 2.5-inch grabbers, top and bottom, to anchor it securely. So we'll go to that point. Okay, now that we have the uprights put together, our next step is the little angle pieces. Now I cut one and put it here, and like I said, this is going to be a 30-degree angle, this is a 60-degree angle. It's going to fit together just like that. We're going to go over to the chop saw right now and cut those, and I'll show you how we cut a 60-degree angle on a chop saw. In order to cut a 60-degree angle on a chop saw, what you have to do, or at least the way I am doing it, is I'm making a stop block that has a 45-degree angle already cut. And I'm going to lay that in here and then set the saw at 15 degrees. 15 and 45 is 60. And then I'll set my stop block. I have a predetermined line that I marked here on the saw. I'm going to set it right here. I'm going to set my stop block. Then I'm going to take my pieces, I'm going to slide them in here to the figure there, and we'll make that cut. There's our 60-degree angle. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut all of the 60-degree angles first, and then cut our 30 degrees, because the long point to long point needs to be 9 3/4, and we want to make that measurement exact on all of them, and so we'll cut all one angle first, all the next angle, then they'll all be the same measurement. Consistency. Ready now to put the angle pieces in. I sanded the inside and outside of them before I put them together because it's going to be difficult to sand. We're going to lay these flat on the bench and nail them in like this. But one of the things we're going to do is check for square first. And we are a little out of square, ever so slightly. You can see right here that I'm a little out of square. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay a clamp on this end to end. And we're going to tighten it up until we're square. And we weren't bad. And there we are, perfectly square. Yeah, very good. That'll make our project come out much better to be square. And all we're going to do is we're going to lay these in here. We're going to toenail them here and here. Then we're going to put some screws there and there. We're not going to glue them. We're just going to nail and screw those, and that's what we'll do right now. This is what our leg will look like. These holes, what we're going to do now, we're getting ready to go to the paint shop. We're going to fill this and sand this all and have it all ready for the paint shop. Now, because this is paint grade, I'm not going to fill this with regular wood putty. I'm going to fill this with Bondo, the same kind of Bondo that you use to fill car body when you sand and spray a car. So we're just going to fill those with Bondo. Bondo doesn't shrink and stays good and solid for a paint grade type fill. So that's what we're going to do, then we'll be ready for paint shop. We'll meet you there. Well, we're done with our sanding. We completed our desk legs. We filled them with Bondo like I showed you. We went over and we sanded everything. I wanted to show you a little bit about what we did on as far as our detail on our desk legs. I put a 1/4 inch round over on the base, and our base is a 1/4 of an inch deeper than our uprights. On the uprights, after we got them all done and sanded, I went over with an 1/8 inch round over on the face side of everything. And on the back, they're flush, and I did 1/8 inch round over on everything. So they're nice and smooth, they're nice soft corners, and it's just going to be a nice surface to paint, and it's going to paint beautiful because we used this poplar wood. We also made a color sample for our desk. We used a walnut stain, and we're going to go put a black glaze over the top of it. That really makes our tiger striping on our 1/4 saw oak stand up, and that's going to make a beautiful top to go with our white table legs. Let's go to the paint shop. Well, welcome back. It's been a couple of days. We've managed to run everything through the paint shop. Our desktop has got a beautiful stain and glaze finish, just like we showed you the sample. We put 4 coats of white paint on our legs and 2 coats of clear top coat. So it's got 6 coats of finish. Actually 6 coats on this too. So it's got a beautiful finish all the way around. What we're going to do is we're going to flip it over, assemble it upside down. We've made a drawer section for it. So just watch how as we assemble, see how it comes together. Okay, we've got our cabinet screwed to our desktop. I put a screw too close to the edge. You watched me do that. It pushed out there. I have a little repair work to do that, and I'll do that. That is on the underneath side and in the back of the drawer, but I still don't want to have that left that way. Now, we're going to put the ends on. The ends will fit just like this. And we'll screw the ends to our cabinet, and that will bring those secure. Then we'll roll it over and put the drawers in. So we'll go that far next. We're not going to patch the screws underneath. This is not going to show, but these screws will show, and we're using these small self-adhesive screw caps that I can borrow from my hardware supplier. They're white and they match the finish, and they cover that and hide the screws. We've got our drawers all built. We're putting those in. We've provided a link to our video that we did on how to build drawers. I wanted to point out this particular drawer. This is my file drawer. And what I did, this has full extension side guides that are soft close. If I can get it in here. Too many moving parts. There we go. Anyway, I wanted to show you what I did. I just cut in some 1/8 by 1 inch aluminum strap so I can do my hanging files. This is my file drawer for my prints. A little sticky to begin with. There we go. These are our drawer faces that we're going to put on. We're just going to nail them from the inside and put our handles on, and we'll be done. Well, what do you think? Looks pretty cool. Somebody gets to have a nice desk. Me. As always, it's been fun to have you in the shop and show you what we can do. We look forward to seeing you next time on Woodworking with Wes.